Hey, Mr. Robot,
Hey Liz, nice to hear from you again so soon.
and you. Thank you. Everybody, my name is Liz Cross, and you can find me at psychiclizcross.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Mr. Robot, if
Yep.
you would like to sign up for energy healing with Mr. Robot, please email him at moongrass777@gmail.com. What
Awesome.
what do you have for us tonight?
Thanks for the introduction. We're gonna kind of do a little circle around through some different ideas and theories. Probe some potentially not negative beings for some information. But first of all, I wanted to start off with a bit of a remote viewing for you. Can you lock on to March 13th, 1997, over Phoenix?
Okay. Yes.
And do you see any lights in the sky with your remote viewing skills?
Yes, but they're spinning.
And did they connect from each light, or like is there a mass to this giant object, or is it just lights?
It's just lights.
And can you channel these lights as an entity?
Yes.
What were these lights?
They were. What are you? I don't actually know what they are. They're not spirits, right? So they're not, orbs from the spirit world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they're from.
Ask them if they were spacecraft.
Were you spacecraft? No.
And were they drones?
Were you drones? No.
Were they of the Earth plane?
No, they're entity. They're like different entity beings.
Are they aliens?
Are you aliens? Yes.
So this is like one of the most publicly viewed sightings. It's called the Phoenix Lights. I mean, you can see this is the whole area of Phoenix, and this took up the whole sky, and it actually went in a V-shaped pattern. I think over Tucson, and it was basically just going over Arizona, and I think some other states were even able to see it from their perspective because it was so gigantic. And no one knows what it is, and I was kind of hoping we could probe into why they were making such a visible display. What was their intention with flying over Phoenix that night?
What's your intention flying over Phoenix that night? To make people aware, to make ourselves known. They did that intentionally.
Yeah, so I think people who witnessed this said that it blacked out the sky in the big shape of a V. Can you ask the entities if they were making a V type pattern?
Did you make a V type pattern? Yes, and I feel like they made multiple shapes.
And can you ask them in our mathematics how many miles wide it was?
How many miles wide in our mathematics was it? How wide were you? Were you a mile wide? No. Half a mile? A bit larger than half a mile.
Yeah, people said it was akin to a full like I forgot what you call them, the ocean jet carriers, where you can they were basically saying you could land like tons of planes on top of this because it was this gigantic V just flying in the sky. See if you can find out where this came from.
Where did she come from? They're from a different planet.
And are they physical?
Physical. They can make themselves physical, okay, but they are also non-physical.
Gotcha. And how easy is it for them to come to Earth from where they are?
Good question. How easy is it for you to come to Earth where you are? It takes 2 years.
Interesting. And what is their power source?
As in, what are they running their whatever
Yeah,
that
what fuels their ships?
What fuels your ships? What fuels your ships? Source energy. I don't understand that.
Okay, so that's really interesting. Ask them if they are aliens who like are of source.
Source? No, but they harvest power from source.
And would they call this energy 0-point energy?
Would you call that energy 0-point energy? Something like that, whatever that is. But yes, something like that.
Yeah, ask them if it's the energy that is just found in space itself.
Is it the energy that is just found in space itself? Yes.
So, yeah, 0-point energy is really awesome. Ask them if 0-point energy specifically is source energy.
Is 0-point energy source energy? Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
I don't even know what 0-point energy is.
Let me see if I can find this guy. He's a real crazy looking dude. He looks like a modern day Albert Einstein.
Okay.
And it'd be really cool because he actually doesn't know what he's doing, but he's so smart that he's tapping into some energy field and he doesn't know what it is, but it can like shift metal into the different compounds. Oh, the Hutchinson. The remarkable. So let's see if we can have them link to. Let me find out his first name. Oh, well, I mean, basically, it's called the. Ask him if 0-point energy is kind of like what we experience as the Hutchinson effect.
Is it similar to what we experience as the Hutchinson effect? Very similar, yes. Excuse me.
And how advanced for them is harnessing this energy? Is this energy very basic for them, or is it a very advanced thing for them?
This is very advanced. No, this is freely available, very basic.
Yeah. So here's a little bit of a video. He's channeling all this energy in at this metal, and this metal starts basically pulsating between different realities, and it starts bending, starts becoming weightless. A bunch of different governments went to this guy as he basically lives in a trailer, and they took apart his whole trailer and tried to recreate this energy effect, but none of them were really successful. That's a whole nother topic, but
how is it even created? Do you know?
Well, so he doesn't know. This guy, let me see if I can show you what his apartment looks like. He just plugs all these machines into each other and then points these beams into one spot. And what's really interesting is that he's been able to get non-metallic items like this yogurt starts experiencing upside down gravity. So watch, this little bit of yogurt starts floating upwards. And what's really funny is, and even a bowling ball, is he says his neighbors, their utensils start floating in their living rooms.
Oh, really? Oh, God. Thank God I don't live next door to him.
Right. And yeah, this is about to take off right here.
Whoa.
Ask this entity if 0 point energy is the key to making a craft, have its own gravity field.
0 point energy, the key to making crafts have its own gravity field. Yes.
Okay, so ask them if when they are making, let's say they're going Mach 20 in our sky and then they make an abrupt 90-degree turn, if they experience G-force inside of their ship or not.
Yes, but it's weightless.
Is it because they're inside of their own gravitational field?
Is it because you're inside of your own gravitational field? That's correct.
Yeah, so basically if you watch any like History Channel show on UFOs, they're always baffled because these ships will be going, Mach 20 or something, and then they make an abrupt right turn. And anything normal, like within our realm of physics, would just be smashed against that wall. You wouldn't be able to survive that turn. Kind of like hitting a wall. It's a abrupt change in direction. So that's kind of why physicists are baffled about UFOs, is like how that works. I mean, that's what they say, but apparently they've already, discovered how to do it. So that's what I actually wanted to get into, is Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Because I know you did Bob Lazar. I didn't get a chance to see that video, and I think it was removed. So can we just hit Bob Lazar up for just a few answers?
Yes, he's not well at the moment. Yes, go ahead.
Ask him if there's anything he couldn't say on his talk with Joe Rogan.
He says, I can't disclose that information to you. Now, this is something very interesting about Bob Lazar, and probably have not had the experience really before, which is he has some sort of military grade protection around him. The only other person I know that has that CIA or military grade protection around them is Lynn Buchanan. So you have to really work on Bob Lazar to start getting the answers out.
Okay, and let's also pull in Erudif.
Okay.
What's Erudif doing? Is he okay joining us today?
Oh, yeah. Always happy to be here.
And real quick, let's clear something up with Erudif. Ask him if when he channels through Robert, is he providing information for humanity's good?
Tries to, yes. Does Bob Lazar channel Erudif?
No, definitely not. But I wanted to use Erudif to see what was up with this protection. But I just wanted to make sure for our viewers that they understood that Erudif, came from the dark and ascended his way through to the light. Can you ask him if that's correct?
That's correct.
Cool. And ask Erudif what is going on with Bob Lazar, why we can't probe too well. Like, what is this military grade barrier?
It's been put in place around Bob Lazar for years. Did the CIA do that? Yes, the CIA did that. That's what I got the last time I probed him as well. That he had this very well put in place CIA military grade etheric barrier. But
And
I can bust through that.
well, let's hold off on that for 1 second. Ask Eric how humans are able to do that.
How are humans able to do that? They do it with their minds. They do it with their mind. There's a sequence or a protocol that they follow, and they put this barrier in place.
How was this protocol or sequence discovered on Earth?
I feel like through aliens.
Yeah, because for something to last, in the etheric realm, it's weird that, because I mean, my opinion would be that someone would have to sit there 24/7 to conjure this barrier. Ask Eric what kind of technology that is. Is it non-physical? Did humans have to make a conscious entity to keep this barrier running 24/7?
Hang on, let me ask. Sorry, I'm trying to get over my cold. I keep coughing. Did humans? What was the question?
Do humans have to use? Do we have to create a consciousness to keep this barrier running for?
Ooh. Consciousness to keep the barrier. Yes. Yes, we do.
Because it's not a human keeping this barrier up, right?
No, the human that initially put it in place has actually passed.
Can you pull that person in?
Yeah.
Let's ask them how they did that.
How did you do that? Asked for entities not on the earth plane to make sure this barrier was in place. So created an entity with that is a conscious mind construct, but got the idea from non-physical beings, right? And you basically, it's almost like you follow a remote viewing protocol and you put it in place.
Yeah, it sounds like you could essentially make a barrier with like CTT or something.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Ask that person who has passed if they literally got the idea from a non-physical being, like through conversation.
Yes, because the person that put it in place is an extremely gifted psychic.
And did they work for the government?
Did you work for the government? Yes.
Very cool. And ask him if he has to use higher dimensional beings, which aren't necessarily aliens.
Did you have to use higher dimensional beings that aren't necessarily aliens? No, he had to create it with his conscious mind. He had to create an entity with his conscious mind.
Yeah. And ask him if he had to envision like a human doing this or what kind of entity it was.
Did you? No, as a type of barrier, a type of wall.
Interesting. Let's see.
Were you a remote viewer? No, but what he did was very similar to remote viewing.
And can you ask Eric if higher dimensional beings are necessarily always aliens?
Dimensional. Are they always They always aliens? No.
Okay, cool. That's just to clear up some stuff. We're trying to be as clear as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you can drop that person who passed. So it depends.
Actually, before we drop them, let's ask them this question. The government, the CIA, FBI, are they still using a team of psychics now? The CIA does use psychics.
Ask him who. I don't know if he'll know. I'm just trying to wonder who basically controls the governments, because I feel like there's someone higher than the government.
Who controls the government? Is there someone higher than the government? Not on the earth plane, no.
Or in the non-physical?
In the non-physical source.
Very interesting. I was trying to poke at the, what are they called? It's like the Bilderberg Secret Society. I forgot. What are they called? You know, everyone
I
always
can't remember, but I've probed them, and I found that theory that it wasn't certainly what I hope, that it wasn't valid.
Ask Erudif real quick who our current president's boss is.
Who is our current president's boss? The lobby.
Oh, okay. Just standard human-like answer. That's nice. Interesting. So just keep Erudif on the side for a second, and then go ahead and see if you can get through Bob's barrier.
Okay, I think I'm through. I've been granted permission.
Awesome. Well, first of all, find out if you got permission through Bob's higher self.
No, I got permission from the guy who we just channeled that put it in there in the first place.
That is too cool. Okay. So ask him what he hasn't told the public about his work with the spacecrafts at S4.
How dangerous they are.
Yeah. I mean, anything else?
They can wreck your life. They can distort your energy. They're operating on a frequency that we do not gel with here on Earth. It's not, it's very dangerous.
So he's talking about if you sat in one of these craft, that your frequency would be totally disrupted.
You would probably turn to dust.
If you turned it on while sitting in a craft.
Yes.
Okay, now let's kind of run everything through Erudif. Does Erudif think that humans have managed a way to fly craft that has been recovered from aliens?
Have humans managed to find a way to fly that has been recovered by humans? No.
Have humans been able to reverse engineer any craft for our own vehicles?
Have humans been able to reverse engineer any craft for our own vehicles? Yes.
Have we made anti-gravity type vehicles?
Anti-gravity type vehicles? No, but we're working on that.
Surprised we're still working on it, because this has been going since the 50s, I think. And so I know we kind of skipped a lot with Bob. Can we just confirm that Bob did work at S4?
Yes, he did.
And did he get hired to reverse engineer spacecraft?
Spacecraft? Yes, that was part of the agenda. Yes.
And he also worked at Los Alamos Labs?
Did he also work at Los Alamos Labs? Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. I take it that's in Texas, right?
No, it's actually in New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Hmm.
Yes. Let's see. When I probed him before, the alien stuff is nothing compared to what Bob Lazar was working on. He actually came out with alien stuff just to protect himself. As in, if anything happens to me, they've done it,
Yeah.
right? There's a reason for that because there was a lot of human experimentation labs going on. I feel like they were in Texas. I
Oh
feel
wow.
like this was a long time ago. They were trying to regrow body parts,
Hmm.
and in order to do that, they would have to get people right as they just died. So what this was a military thing where they were trying to regrow body parts. Now that's what I came across the last probe of Bob Lazar.
So let's confirm that with Bob's higher self. Did he work on a human DNA? It's like a cloning type program.
That's correct.
And has he ever talked about that on the anywhere?
No, not with his conscious mind.
How does he feel about that past? Does he feel bad about that work?
Yes, it's disgusting, but there was nothing he could do.
I find that so weird because I mean, I thought he was just an engineer, I think you would need a medical type people. Ask him how he was involved scientifically.
How was that scientifically? He was an engineer. He worked on the machines that were or the incubators that were there to regrow the body parts.
Interesting. And ask Bob if that technology was alien.
Is that alien technology? No.
Okay. And does that happen at Area 51?
Does that have one? No. South Texas.
Okay. Now
In the desert.
let's ask Eridiff if we are able to grow body parts now, like in 2022.
Yes, but very minimally. So it looks like we're trying to, grow organs, things like that. So those types of body parts, yes. What the project was actually trying to do was to regrow like legs, arms, really functioning body parts,
Yeah.
limbs, things like that for soldiers that were coming back from the war or were injured in the 70s or even in the 80s.
And why did the body have to be fresh, like right after it died? Why did that matter?
In the 80s. Because you can't because you didn't want that body part to die. Once that body part died, then you couldn't clone it. It was no good. The DNA had died, the cell had died, everything had died. But they actually would take body parts from these recently deceased people and try to grow them.
Interesting.
It is really because if you think about today's world, people actually choose to donate their body to science. And there's a lot of different things that, universities, hospitals, there's a lot of scientific research based upon those bodies that have passed and were, given to science. The big
Whoa.
controversy surrounding this, the big controversy here is they had to find the bodies and then they, then they exterminated them.
I mean, what's so weird is that's not really a stretch from reality that we know. You know, you can get a donated liver or something, and all you got to do is take a medication. So ask him how it differed from standard, you know, body part donations. From, what was the big difference?
Well, it was a long time ago
Oh, okay.
before. So that was a very, very new experimentation. And also, it was top secret. If soldiers are getting their legs blown off or their arms blown off, and we just grow them a new one, or we have a constant supply, and we just, attach them or reattach them, then without any issues, that's quite amazing.
Well, what I think they're doing now is using a 3D printer, and it prints with the stem cells.
Mm-hmm. And that is why when I asked Eridif, is this still going on now? Eridif answered yes. So, but in a much different way.
Yeah. I'm wondering, though, if we can ask Eridif if we have achieved, if we have gained any technology from aliens that have to do with the DNA.
To do with their DNA. Well, Eridif is saying yes, but I tend to believe that's a no.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering if there's ever been basically like a meeting between our government and aliens. Can you ask Eridif if that has happened, where we've exchanged technology for the rights to abduct people?
No,
Or
they don't actually have to abduct people physically. They can just abduct their consciousness.
but there are definitely a lot of physical markings on a lot of abductees. And weird pregnancy type situations. Can you ask Eridif if there's any type of hybridization? I can't even say it correctly.
Hybrid, like human alien hybrids?
Is there any projects like that going on currently?
Any projects going on currently? No.
Is that from the perspective of aliens or from our planet?
Is that from the perspective of you or the planet? Aliens.
So are aliens no longer interested in our DNA?
No, they're not interested.
That's nice.
The next step to create like mass adoption of aliens, communication. That's what they're working on now.
Okay, ask Eridif, why don't aliens just, as everyone says, land on the White House yard?
Because it would be too extreme.
Why do they care if it's extreme for us?
Because it could create fear, and they could fear humans could fear them.
But why do aliens care if we fear them from their perspective?
Because they want to foster a relationship with us, a positive one, not one that's where we're in fear of aliens.
And ask Eridif if the alien agenda has a dark undertone.
Have a dark undertone. It depends. I mean, it could.
Well, what I mean is, from Eridif's perspective, whatever galactic race is trying to make friends with us, are they trying to do it to steal our souls, essentially?
Yes, that's the goal.
But is it something through force, or is it something that they want to offer people willingly?
Through force.
So does Erudif think that basically we should not progress with the like alien like whatever you want to call it, the friendly stuff when they start showing up eventually?
Do you think that we should progress with it? No.
Yeah, nice. Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about anti-gravity, because I assume humans are definitely smart enough that we could figure this out eventually. Ask Earth if we need special elements that can be created on Earth for anti-gravity machines to work.
Yes, and those elements are not available on Earth.
Yeah, they're what you call exotic, elements, because they have really high levels of certain electrons and stuff. Yeah, ask Erudif if our hadron collider can make some of these elements.
What is it called?
The Hadron Collider.
The hadron. It could. Oh, I've probed that thing before. Okay.
Ask Erudif if this is the secret goal for the Hadron Collider, to make elements for spacecraft.
No. It's really to break down human cells and make it into this. They're looking to make it smaller than an atom if possible.
Yeah, so they actually create mini black holes momentarily to ask Erudif if there's any risk to humans running these Hadron Colliders.
Extreme risk.
Ask him if he thinks that we might accidentally create a black hole that could engulf the Earth.
Yeah. That's an amazing question. Could we accidentally create a black hole that could engulf Earth? No. But I like that question.
So there's another experiment called the Z machine. Can you ask Erudif if he thinks we could accidentally create a star that could burn up the Earth within the Z machine?
We accidentally create a star that could blow up Earth within the Z machine.
Hello?
It's possible. It's very possible, but we won't succeed.
Yeah, so this machine is making a miniature sun so we can harness the power of the sun within the confines of, a small machine. But what's scary about it is that when they blast it, they're making a miniature version of the sun, and the way a sun works, it could like engulf everything around it and get bigger and bigger eventually.
We should definitely do just a separate
what?
A separate probe on this machine.
Yes. Well, ask Erudif if he thinks that the Z machine is the future way of how we will power stuff.
So, no.
Okay, ask Erudif if 0-point energy is the future way for like our energy needs.
It's the only way.
Does Eric have any tips on how we can access 0 point energy?
Ooh, do you have any tips how we can access 0 point energy? We have to have a machine that will harvest it.
Okay, but how do we tap into, because 0 point energy is the energy within zero space. How do we achieve, it's kind of like breaking through the fabric of space-time to access that energy. Can you ask him if that's correct?
That's correct. Yes. And I think that we will have to do a part 2 on this one. This is an amazing video. So we invite anyone who has information on 0 point energy, the CERN machine, or what was the other machine? The Z.
Yeah, the Z machine or CERN. I mean, I think the most interesting thing will be probing 0 point energy.
0 point energy. So we do invite you to put forth your questions or comments, drop them on the YouTube, visit this and do a part 2. Mr. Robot, is that okay with you?
Yeah, let's just ask one question to Erudif real quick.
Okay.
Can you ask him if bumblebees are escaping gravity?
Are bumblebees escaping gravity? Yes.
Cool. And we'll leave that as the mystery.
God,
Yep.
Talk about a cliffhanger.
Yep, exactly.
Good grief. Oh my goodness. Well, we will revisit that one on Monday.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mr. Robot, again. I am Psychic Liz Cross from psychiclizcross.com. Mr. Robot can be reached at moongrass777@gmail.com. Any last words, Mr. Robot?
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you.